What is up? It is week 13. Man, we're already skipping ahead in our minds. It's week 13. It's last minute. We have an hour and 30 minutes before kickoff. It is make or break once again. This is the last try you get, really and truly. Next week that's it. Playoffs are starting right after that. So it is important. It is paramount. It is critical. We get you the optimal lineups to win your matchups today, and that is what we're here to do. All of your start-sit questions, all your dilemmas, all your insecurities about who you're starting in your lineups, we are here to help. I, your humble host, Tyler, aka Emo Cowboy, here on the Fantasy Sanctuary this week, week 13, to get you the best lineups possible going into these matchups, help you win, help you make the playoffs, save your season, give you a shot at that sweet championship. So let's get into it. Let's review the news as it's coming in, flowing from all the insiders. Every last bit of tidbit we can give, projections, news, notes. It is all coming here on the Fantasy Sanctuary. Let us get into it. Drop your questions in the chat. We will get to every single one of them before kickoff, making sure you get your best lineup possible. Feel free to fade. I welcome anyone and everyone to do what is right in their hearts. If you want to oppo me, I'm going to give you the best vibes-based projection that we can give you here today. I'm going to look at the consensus rankings, expert rankings, and my own vibe check on things, given some of the coach speak that we've had, utilizing friend of the channel, Coach Speak Index, as well as any sort of weather and health related stuff. I use Jeff Mueller, Edwin Porras, their health stuff to give you fades and any sort of info on who is likely to hit, who is not likely to hit. So we're going to be answering your questions for subscribers. So hit that subscribe, hit that like, especially if I answer your question. We're going to get to every single one of them today. As we wait on questions to come in on the chat, let's go through some quick news and notes that are coming through live, aggregated very easily and conveniently for the Underdog NFL handle on Twitter. Looking like Pop Douglas is active for week 13. So once again, you're going to have some cheap, viable shots on goal with the New England pass catchers. Hard to trust any of them considering how they spread the ball out and how much they run, but Miami does kind of do a lot of too high stuff. So might be a get right spot for Ramondre, perhaps a scam PPR merchant like Pop Douglas himself. Breece Hall popped up on the injury report early in the week. There was some concern that he might sit and Braylon Allen would be the starter in his stead. And instead, we have full news that he's going to be active. Not sure how that's going to work out, but they are playing Indianapolis. Get right spot for a lot of folks. Or Seattle, my bad. Alec Pierce active. Josh Downs confirmed out a couple days ago. So it looks like Pierce and Pittman and AD Mitchell are your go-to guys. Ryan from the Fantasy Points noted that AD Mitchell has the best yards per route run and earns more than half of his targets against the type of coverage he's going to see today. So definitely think AD Mitchell, sneaky start upside, but we've seen Pierce really operate as the deep guy in this offense as well and having a really solid season. So if you're in desperation mode, you might be able to do worse than Alec Pierce. Trevor Lawrence, as expected, with early week reports, is going to be active week 13. Brock Purdy will be active. They're already getting ahead of any potential limitations he's going to have. We did get news from some of the weather folks that, there's not going to be feet and feet of snow on the field in Buffalo versus San Francisco today. But we do expect snow. We do expect it to be cold. And we do know that San Francisco is missing two of their linemen, including their star tackle, Trent Williams, as well as the quarterback coming in today, Brock Purdy. It's good that he's playing, but it is noteworthy that his throwing arm is the one banged up. So might see a really run-heavy game plan, low ADOT stuff. Hard to feel really good about, guys like Jennings and Kittle, but we've seen those guys do plenty with minimal. Tajay Spears is going to be splitting work today with Tony Pollard. So Tony Pollard, usually a smash play when he's the solo workhorse. They will be splitting time. But Tajay continues to be banged up and not leaned on as much as oh, I'm sharing the wrong screen. That's why it's not scrolling. My bad, guys. There we go. How's that? There we go. All right. And then we got some coach speak news from the head coach of the Cardinals, noting that they want to get Marvin Harrison Jr. working and leading the pass game, flowing through him. We know that coming into the bye, they were getting him going into the bye and coming out of the bye, they were getting him more involved on some of those in-breaking, horizontally breaking routes. As friend of the industry, Matt Harmon noted, he's been very, very effective on those horizontal breaking routes, not so much on the vertical breaking routes. Ryan of the Fantasy Points, channel and Twitter account and company also wanted to note that Trey McBride crushes the type of coverage that Arizona is going to see today. So it should be interesting if they're going to get Marv going early and often. McBride's still going to see his league-leading target share at tight end. Both those guys could have big, big days as they try to funnel. We could see just the entire passing offense really funnel and concentrate to Marv and Trey McBride today at the expense of Michael Wilson and maybe even the running backs. So it should be interesting to see. And then a little bit of news and notes for Hollywood Brown potentially coming back. Do want to note for folks for the overtime news, Cedric Tillman out with a concussion as expected. Hard to clear those in a single week, even with the extra time. And Austin Eckler getting placed on IR for his concussion. Tough to see. All right. If you have any start-sit questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat below. Everybody on every channel is here to help you set your lineups. We're going to do the same thing in depth. What? In a couple of my leagues today, it's the Brock Purdy news was potentially exciting, but it is hard to trust guys like Jawan Jennings, who was seeing a pretty deep ADOT in this offense. Debo, Ricky Pearsall stuff has been on. This is always the question of, is it better for the starting quarterback with a banged up throwing arm and shoulder and elbow to come into the game, or is it better to put the healthy guy who's a shittier quarterback? What's going to be more limiting for the offense? Age-old question for coaches to ask themselves, and it's kind of a make-or-break game here. San Francisco's last in their division right now, so I understand that they're trying to push for things. CMC has been really ineffective coming off this Achilles. Not that surprising. Achilles injuries do tend to sap the explosiveness of running backs. One of the things we were concerned about with J.K. Dobbins coming into the season, he made up for it in volume and some really soft matchups off the cuff of the season. J.K. Dobbins out with a MCL sprain for at least a good chunk of the fantasy season. So, CMC might see more work, but he's not been very explosive. Buffalo, seemingly fine matchup for running backs, but won't be surprised if San Francisco goes in a more run-heavy game plan, utilizing Jordan to try to help take some of that load off of CMC, who is struggling with his efficiency and explosiveness coming off that Achilles at the age of 29. For anyone stopping by, welcome to the Fantasy Sanctuary. It is week 13. We're here to answer your start-sit questions last minute before kickoff. So if you have any, please hit that subscribe button. Please drop them in the chat, and we will get to them. Week 13, make or break, maybe. Week 13, make or break. Check for any laser bombs. Coming in late. Vikings inactives versus Cardinals include Josh Oliver. Do want to note that TJ Hawkinson fully back from his injury ramp up, expected to be, coming back from that type of injury and length of leave from football activities and normal ramp up times. TJ Hawkinson, we called him out last week, is likely to see full normal type of workload. Vikings using the tight ends a lot more in the passing game. Sure enough, earns his normal workload. And we expect every week coming after this him to get even more involved and explosive in the yak game. And he's yet to really see his normal red zone work. So could be in for a monster day today going up against the Cardinals. Josh Oliver's kind of been used as their blocking tight end dump off guy. He's out this week, so won't be surprised if the tight end targets really consolidate down to Hawkinson, who's sneakily been a hit for Justin Jefferson's ceiling when healthy and active, especially with Darnold at the helm. They've been a little bit more conservative. Aaron Jones back to his full workload last week, a week removed from his rib injury. Expect to see that continue this week as they kind of, again, Vikings lean more conservative, a bit lower ADOT, keep it higher efficiency, and help keep Darnold on track to avoid any sort of Darnoldisms. Looks like DJ Chark is active for the Chargers this morning. So interesting to see, I believe Jalen Reagor earned 2 targets last week. So wouldn't be surprised if Chark takes away some from Reagor or from Palmer. Stephen McMahon, what's up, on Twitter, says, hey, Tyler, hope you have a great weekend. Start Jalen Hurts or Jaden Daniels. I think Devonta Smith might not play. Yeah, so Devonta Smith, what's up, Stephen? Hope you had a good weekend and have a great day. It's a lot on stake for this slate, both in DFS, best ball, and then all of our redraft leagues. It's Hurts easily. Tennessee's been a pretty good defense. They've stymied some quarterback and running backs on the year. Levis is playing fine enough. Hurts has a great matchup against Baltimore secondary. Baltimore's much better against running backs. One of the better teams in the NFL at limiting running backs. Even if Smith doesn't play, which game time decision for hamstring typically means sit. It sounds like the fantasy docs think he's going to sit. They still have A.J. Brown, who's fully healthy and crushes the type of coverage that Baltimore deploys. Hurts always has the tush push in his back pocket. He's been rushing just as much as Jaden has in his big games. And they've talked about using Saquon in the passing game. So I wouldn't be surprised if anything that Smith is missing, they kind of make up for by utilizing Dallas Goedert and Saquon Barkley in creative ways in the passing game. But Hurts, A.J. Brown, Saquon, and Dallas Goedert, still plenty enough weapons for Hurts to be effective. Hurts has been very effective as a passer and as a rusher. He's got a great matchup versus Baltimore. Baltimore's offense should be something that scares them and pushes them. But I, really and truly, Baltimore, good enough defense to try to help kind of stymie these sort of nuclear games from Saquon, at least from a rushing standpoint. So I'm rolling with Hurts. It's hard to go away from that, especially with Eckler missing is going to hurt some of the rushing efficiency and running back target efficiency that Cliff is able to kind of lean on. And we've seen Cliff's had like 5 years experience now of his offense is kind of really cratering late season. So you worry about Jaden Daniels until that late 70-yard touchdown pass to Terry McLaurin against an awesome matchup. It's kind of struggling to really, really pop. So I'd say, until we see this Washington passing offense be really effective week in and week out, I'm not going to get too cute with Hurts versus Daniels. And then I'll check expert ranks real quick. But I'm fairly certain Hurts is probably like the number 1 ranked quarterback from most folks. You don't need Smith healthy to help to have Hurts crush. All right, pulling it up. Yeah, pretty easily. Hurts is being highly ranked. Jaden Daniels rarely cracking the top 5. Hurts never falling out of the top 4. Go Hurts, brother. You're always good. The Hurts rushing touchdowns. No one has more rushing touchdown expected week in and week out than Jalen Hurts. Keith Tapp, what's up? Welcome. Who to flex? Taysom, Gus, Shakir, Chubb. Okay, so you're back with the same question. Bennels and I, we gave you the spiel for Taysom. I still highly believe in Taysom because I'm a ceiling first guy. We had more confirmation that Gus is not likely to see full workhorse bell cow usage. Vidal is going to fill in for J.K. Dobbins. And so in PPR land, it's Shakir or it's Taysom. The weather's not going to be as bad in Buffalo as we first thought yesterday. So Shakir is your safest median outcome play. I play for ceiling in the way Taysom gets rushing, receiving, and he's been talked about as like they just said they want to use him on every play if they can. If Taysom's used on 85 to 95% of plays, he is nuking on usage. So I'm still going Taysom at pure nut ceiling outcome. He's got, nearly 50-point outcome ceiling and like a nice healthy 12 to 15 point median floor, which is right in line with Shakir. So I have a hard time going away from Taysom. But I understand if you have any sort of reservations about Taysom the player and Taysom the usage, it's Shakir. But with how many targets Taysom's able to get, his red zone usage as a running back and any sort of quarterback play he can get, hard to go away from Taysom at flex. Who's your Devo asking, did I eat a sexy beast today? I did. I ate, we're having Thanksgiving leftovers. I had me a turkey sandwich and some red beans and rice for breakfast because breakfast of champions, because right after this, it's time to hit the gym, get swole. Also, hello. All right. Danzel Barrett asking Darnold or Geno. Darnold's still been efficient. He's got a sneaky rushing upside, similar to Geno. And then the Seahawks have a sneaky good run matchup versus the Jets today. I know a lot of people really like Geno. Arizona has been playing better defense, so Geno has the safer matchup. So at quarterback, all things being equal, you probably go with the matchup, just playing the matchups. So from that angle, likely Geno. Looks like expert consensus rankings agree with Geno. I'd say for your specific league settings, either play the matchups or put the projections. It's hard to really time these guys as like a market. And it looks like for projections this week, Geno does edge him out just barely. They're close to a coin flip. Do want to note that Darnold is averaging a little bit more points per game on the season, and his rushing efficiency has been a little bit more steady. He's got the full healthy cast of players. So expert consensus rankings say Geno. I kind of like Darnold this week, the way they've been able to utilize Hawkinson and the way that Seattle just doesn't know what they want to do. 1 week they're super pass heavy. 1 week they're getting the run game back going. The Jets are so bad that, everybody could hit. They've just been really volatile as an offense. Not like Minnesota hasn't had their struggles, but they are playoff bound. And so there you go. Expert consensus says Geno. My gut says Darnold. Is when in doubt, KOC is showing to be a better buoy for the quarterbacks. They are pretty much a coin flip in projections and in ratings. Geno edging him out more often than not. Welcome, Keith. Sorry, Danzel. You hit me with like a real coin flip boss. All right, one running back, one flex. Gus, Chubb, Jennings, Cooper, Amari Cooper, McNichols. Danzel, is this PPR or half PPR, bud? I'll come back to this real quick. Let me know if it's PPR or half PPR. What's up, Bubba? How you doing, fella? Hoosier says, got to start 2 in Superflex. Darnold, May, and T-Law. Darnold and May, Hoosier. Okay, so Denzel, you're full PPR, and you said one running back, one flex. One running back, one flex. We're going with Chubb over Gus. Chubb just seeing more work. When doubt, go with volume. And as far as one flex, you want one flex. And McNichols, he might fill in for Eckler, but he's been more of a rusher than he's been a pass catcher. So not sure how they're going to deploy. Brian Robinson could just see 75 to 80% of the running back carries in a tough matchup against Tennessee. So hard to trust McNichols. McNichols would have been a smash play if Brian Robinson missed, but since he's expected to play, I'd say Chubb, and then Ingram, Jennings, Cooper. It's Ingram or Jennings. Jennings the much better player. The weather's not as bad. Ingram hard to trust. It's just going to be him and BTJ. Not Lawrence and Ingram have a connection. Probably Jennings. Let me check the projections. Don't hit me with the tough ones today. I prefer Jennings in PPR to have PPR. Hold on. So, my shit freeze up. Man, yeah, the projections are very similar. Jennings slightly edges him out. And then Thornton has, he has Ingram slightly over Jennings. So I guess, at the end of the day, at least Trevor Lawrence's throwing shoulder is fine. He's throwing to him. So, Denzel, to answer your question, full PPR, go Chubb, go Ingram. Good luck. John from Twitter. And John, if you don't mind, hit that link on YouTube. Come, hit the like, hit the subscribe. We'd appreciate you on our road to 4K subs. Please help. Every time I start Zay Flowers, he lays an egg. Do I start him against the Eagles? Do I start Tony Pollard against Washington? I understand your pain, and the sucky part with Flowers is the Eagles have been a really good defense against opposing quarterbacks and wide receivers the last bit of time, and Pollard's been less of a good play. As long as Spears plays. That said, I think you got to roll with Pollard. I just checked Thorman and expert rankings. I think you're better off with Pollard. In the event that Spears misses any time, Pollard's just a smash as a workhorse anyway, and at least has a red zone role to speak of. Sneaky Baltimore could struggle today a little bit against Philly's defense. Leo DL 1964, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the sanctuary. Asking Herbert or Burrow half PPR. I think Burrow. I'm sorry, Herbert. Herbert's rushing floor. He's been like a Konami quarterback. The last few weeks has full healthy staff outside of J.K. Dobbins, which should not be as big of a hit at all. So with how Herbert is rushing, and then Burrow talking about how the cold does bother his wrist, and they're going to have a pretty cold thing. Yeah, it's going to be Herbert. Also, Atlanta is like, they're kingmakers. Their secondary is one of the worst in the NFL. They've been like the Washington Commanders of last year, where quarterbacks and wide receivers having their best games against them. And at the end of the day, they're both really efficient passers. Herbert's rushing projection is like 20 yards. He's been having like 30 and 40 rushing yard games. So go with Herbert. Good luck. Dallins 89, welcome to the channel and the chat live. Bubba, long time no see in the live stuff. I've reached the stage of the season where all my starters are locked in. I keep starting Benson, Corum, Mason, etc. Stashing. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, if you can stash some of those guys ahead of kickoff and you have the bench space, absolutely do it, because you don't know who could be a league winner at backup running back, whoever goes down today. You just cut Gus Bus to pick up Mason. I love that. Yeah, I'm cutting Gus where I'm not starting him if he's on my bench. If there's a guy like a Mason or Corum or whatever, like a better handcuff out there, I'm grabbing him. Atlanta's going to be a nice matchup for him to have a fine game. But there are higher upside running backs to go stash. Leo asking Chubb, Jennings, or Debo half PPR. Ooh, probably Chubb. You can't start Debo right now. They've been limiting his snaps. He's having one of his worst efficiency years. Yeah, it's Chubb by just a smidgen. Hoosier, preaching the good word. Hit that like. You know you want to. Every like, every subscribe helps the channel. We're just a little channel just trying to chug along, brother. Jason Calhoun, welcome, bud. How's it going? Jason, by the way, shout out last week, came in and said, Waddle is due. And we laughed. And we said, well, yeah, everybody's due. And then Waddle had his best game of the season, likely. So shout out Jason, the Oracle Calhoun. Who's your shot this week? Who's due this week? I'm going to go sneak in a BR with them on that lineup. Full PPR, Debo, Shakir, Edwards in the flex. Shakir. Full PPR, it's Shakir. And then I will check my bias. But yeah, pretty sure. Guys, if you can bet under Gus Edwards receptions, you absolutely should. Gus Edwards buries you if he gets 2 touchdowns today. And even then, he might have the 2 touchdowns, 30-yard game type of thing. Yeah, Shakir's projections double what Gus Edwards is, even with the... I bet, guys, I took Edwards under rushing 12.5 attempts today, just to give you all an idea. Gut says Baker. Carolina, easy matchup. They want to get Evans that 1K yards. They're throwing to the running backs plenty. Bucky, Rashad, Evans all have great days. Bryce and the Panthers are playing much better under Canales, looking much more comfortable. I expect guys like Leggett, David Moore, guys like that to have like sneaky solid days against Tampa Bay. I think this could end up being like a really nice divisional shootout. Tampa Bay secondary sucks. Bryce has looked competent, and Carolina's defense is ass. And they can be had in the run game and the pass game. So I think Tampa Bay onslaughts are very live. Baker's live to have an awesome day, and he's not afraid to, run for yards. Dang, Zane Flowers is due after we just told someone to sit him for Pollard. Jason called Waddle's breakout last week. That said, it was a nice matchup, right? Patriots getting owned by the receivers, and then Johnny and Waddle having awesome days. So, Jason called the shot. 1-0 so far. Dylan saying Ridley is due. If Westbrook's TD rotate, Ridley is going to have some. I like the Ridley shout out. They talked about getting him involved, getting his volume going. So absolutely, theoretically, I think he's a great scroll at wide receiver in your PRs and stuff. PPR, he's a great start just on volume alone. I do agree. That said, they scheme up Westbrook-Akines. Like they run him. I think he's got like the highest ADOT in the league right now. Like he's getting these like super deep targets. So part of the reason he's scoring these touchdowns is he's seeing like 1, 2, 3 targets a game. It's like 30, 40, 50 yards. So when he catches them, they're very likely to be touchdowns. Ridley's not being schemed up for those. He just doesn't have that speed or operating, but I get it. I mean, Baker's a top quarterback right now. Let me check my gut against Rams, but the Burrow vibes don't feel great. Yeah, they're like 50-50 right now. And it's for Rams. Foreman has Burrow ranked at 6, Baker at 8. That said, on the season, Baker has, I think he's had more spikes, but he is getting edged out just slightly. Points per game and projection average. Burrow is ranked higher, but I'm saying IKB. I'd love to play the matchup, and this could really be a Chase Brown, Jamar Chase low ADOT dump off day. We've seen these divisional games be fucking wonky before. Is he? Nick Westbrook-Akines, he's a Hoosier. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Does Connor's extension have any kind of effect on Benson rest of the season? No. Not in non-dynasty, no. I think Connor's extension is just about a guy continuing to look good and a staff wanting to do right by him. The extension's most likely like 1 year, and then we'll see, which is fine. Like, you get the guy that's looked good, effective in your system, and you get ahead of any sort of market rate stuff. I think that's fine. Benson's looked good, and he's been talked about positively, and he's kind of had like a 30 to 40% snap share randomly. So I think at the end of the day, no, Benson has been a handcuff the last couple of weeks. Who could see Connor's work if Connor misses? And this doesn't change anything. You're not going to suddenly give the old guy more work just because they gave him an extension. I think in Dynasty, he's less valuable without an injury now because there's not an out to Connor leaving next year and Benson absorbing that role, which is his highest upside likelihood. Let's check on any late breaking news. We'll wait for more chat. Also, Cincinnati's defense is pretty bad, and if the Steelers get out ahead and the Bengals have to push, we've seen them do some dumb shit. Wow, the Vegas total for the Niners is lower than the Titans, Patriots, Jaguars, and Jets. Holy shit. What a fucking wild. So, like, Vegas is not expecting a whole lot out of the Niners anyway. So another good reminder about that. Scott on Twitter, PPR, B-Rob or Stevenson. Also, Jaden Daniels or Baker Mayfield. Thanks. Probably Robinson. Stevenson's got the much easier matchup, and so this is a game where he probably does see a lot of the workload, but that team has just been so volatile. He's at half PPR. No, in full PPR. Okay. In full PPR, Stevenson does usually see more of the receiving workload. Checking projections, checking ranks. These are pretty close. Yeah, okay. So Thorman agrees with me from Establish the Run, but they're back-to-back. They're like 23rd and 22nd. My gut says go with B-Rob. It's a tougher matchup, but they're a better rushing attack, and his red zone role is much better than Stevenson's. Miami playing on a 2-high, though, could be a great game to smash. Or Stevenson to see like that 20 attempt thing. Both quarterbacks are rushing quarterbacks. I go B-Rob, and if Thorman agrees with me, I have a hard time going away from that. And then as far as Daniels or Baker, it's probably Baker. But I'm willing to be wrong. No, yeah, Jaden Daniels, after that rib injury and without Eckler, he probably might rush more. But playing Daniels and B-Rob seems a little thin in your redraft lineup, right? I want to say Baker and B-Rob because Baker's matchup is so easy with Daniels rushing. You know what? We're not going to be afraid. We're going to say Daniels and B-Rob because while it seems like in our little stupid tiny brains that it's negatively correlated, if the offense has a good day and scores good touchdowns, boom, cool, awesome. We've seen B-Rob catch a few passes. That correlates well with Daniels. Washington's got to win. It is Tennessee after all. We'll go B-Rob and Daniels. Fuck it. Wilby, hello again to you, sir. Stafford or Kyler this week? I have a hard time going away from dual threat in Kyler anytime. And I know the New Orleans matchup's pretty juicy. but Stafford's had like 1 week outscoring Kyler. And of course, the expert ranks I care about have them basically back to back. They have Stafford ever so slightly over Kyler. That said, against blitz heavy stuff, McBride sees good usage and Kyler has legs. So I have a hard time not suggesting the rushing quarterback. If Stafford has to throw like 3 touchdowns and 250 yards to for sure outscore Kyler 50 rushing yards, potentially a rushing touchdown. And if they're going to get Marv going more, this could be one of his more efficient passing days with Marvis doing his thing and McBride doing his thing. So Stafford's a safe floor with the easy New Orleans matchup. He did just wreck the Patriots shit. Kyler's a dual threat. So he can match or outscore with a worse real-life quarterback day. And I think you're the second person that's asked me this. I had someone text me about this, and I say the same thing. Kyler, the rushing floor, I have a hard time going away from. Stafford is set up with a really easy matchup today, so it's a coin flip. I will always lean the rushing quarterback guys. It's just easier for them to hit, and it's harder for them to fail. Stafford does have one of his better matchups. Cincinnati defense erratic as fuck. They do awesome against bad and terrible against good. It's just the talent and the coaching are lacking. What's your best 3 picks for an underdog pick'em slip today? Probably Nico Collins overs. Probably Mixon. I like Mixon and Nico overs. Nico usage overs. Mixon over fantasy points or touchdown. What else did I bet today? I took Gus under 12.5 rushing attempts. Expecting Vidal to get more work. What else did I take that I liked? I took Darnell Mooney higher overs. They nuked his usage was awesome. His efficiency was awesome. They nuked his snap share down when he was dealing with that Achilles soreness. But then he went into the bye week. He's been full practice and feeling good. All reports. So like the Mooney overs. Let's see. What else did I take? I like Chase Brown. Receptions. I took him over 4.5 receptions. I think Aaron Jones could have a big day against Arizona. So I took his either over rushing attempts or over fantasy points. He's same thing with Hawkinson. I like Hawkinson's receptions over. I like Jaylen Warren over 2.5 receptions. And then I mentioned I got some Mixon and Collins overs. What's up, Who Hames? How you doing? Jason Cahoon saying he likes Mitchell over 2.5 receptions. Yeah, so I like the Hawkinson over 2.5 for sure. Connor, I don't know how much I like because if they're going to funnel targets early to Marv, and then we know McBride is already a great target earner, especially against the blitz, and Minnesota blitz is at one of the highest rates. I don't know if Connor sees as many receptions. I don't know if I like Mitchell's over receptions. I like Mitchell's over yardage, probably. Yards a touchdown. Because I think he can smash, if he only catches 1 catch, but it's like a 50-yarder or a 60-yard touchdown. And he's been bad with catching the ball, but if he catches one, it's a big play. So I think I'd prefer Mitchell like longest reception or yardage. Tough choice is a good problem to have. Indeed, Scott. You do have tough choices. Like I said, you can make a team bet on B-Rob and Daniels, or you can just say, I want the projected wins. And the projected wins in your question for PPR are then Stevenson by a couple points projected over B-Rob because of passing, and then Daniels a couple points over Winfield. So if that makes it easier for you, and then in my head, from a correlation standpoint, it makes it easier. I've been wrong. These guys have hit just because of how Cliff runs the offense. B-Rob could absorb more of the passing stuff from Eckler, or it might go to McNichols. Cliff does weird shit. But if you wanted to go just like straight projection, which as Adam Harstead on Twitter, great follow for Dynasty, he says, when in doubt, simplify. Go with the projected guys. The projected guys in your question are Daniels and Stevenson, if that helps. Yeah, but he's got the healthiest line he's had. New Orleans is a shit defense. Would it surprise anybody though if they just then had one of the best rushing days they've had in a long time? And just bang, 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 bang. Kyren 120-yard rushing 2 touchdown day. You know. I appreciate you, brother. That was fun. I was reading it backwards, was having a fucking stroke, and then I was like, oh, read it up, down. I appreciate you, Wilby, and I appreciate everybody that comes in the chat, asks a question, leaves a like, hits a subscribe. Every little bit helps. I really do appreciate everybody. It's fun to talk through these matchups and hit the news stuff, making sure we're getting the best lineups possible because it is fucking crunch time. Surprised the lack of like news items coming in. Got a few more minutes to run. I'm gonna jump into the Coach Speak Index Discord and see. I will say Will Disley and Kamani Vidal both got some pretty strong Coach Speak from Greg Roman and Jim Harbaugh. This might be a day where Lag doesn't do as well with the coverage. We'll see. All right, let's go through every team and see if we didn't miss anything. We talked about the Marv, squeaky wheel stuff. Okay, on the Darnell Mooney thing. Darnell Mooney looking good, feeling good. We will see what his status is, but I feel really good about what he can do. He's definitely a little healthier than he was. So I like the Darnell Mooney returning to form, basically, with efficiency and with usage. So if you're taking pick-em overs, if you're taking just straight prop overs, I like Darnell Mooney a lot. And then I think he's a really strong flex or wide receiver 2 type in both PPR and half PPR. And see the Ravens saying we're going to try to run the ball as much as we can. He only gets Derrick Henry only gets stronger. That would be interesting. It could be to the detriment of Flowers today if they try to be stubborn with the run game to kind of keep the Eagles' offense off the field. Bills, Kincaid is going to be out. Coleman's questionable. We'll see how he looks. That sounds like a game-time decision for Coleman. Going to the Panthers. Some good coach speak about Bryce. Jalen Coker working through a quad injury. Not expected to play this week either, so another bump to the Leggett, Thielen type of thing. Thielen getting outplayed was not shocking as an old man coming off a hamstring, so definitely more inclined to go after the David Moore, Leggett type of dart throws against Tampa Bay. Bengals, on Chase Brown's heavy workload, we got to find ways to manage it. I think his circumstances have led to what he's gotten the last 2 weeks. I'd like for Chase to touch the ball as much as possible. He's got the potential to be explosive on every single play. At the same time, we need another back in there. We'll try to get other guys mixed in a little bit more. He keeps saying that, and it's just not happening. I would expect another heavy workload from Chase today, especially if Burrow's feeling a little sore in the wrist. Let's see. Browns not looking like a whole lot to note there. Broncos, not much there to help with folks. Going to the Packers, they already played. Going to the Texans. Some good coach speak about John Mechie. Hutchinson inactive today in Houston, so maybe people's favorite little darling Tank Dell. Maybe John Mechie's that of it instead. Downs week to week for the Colts. Jacksonville. Noted yesterday on stream that Jacksonville talked a little bit about how Parker Washington is the guy stepping into the Gabe Davis role and he's more like growth, and that Etienne and Bigsby are both really healthy. And he does not expect any restrictions to be on the game plan or for Lawrence. He'll be a full go. Looking at Rams, Higbee back at practice but still out, not quite ready. Vikings. Nothing really of note there. Patriots. Talking about getting young players involved before the end of the season, so maybe guys like Jalen Polk and Baker are not completely dead for your Week 17 best ball stacks. Baker just having a rough fucking season, saying he has to have consistent snaps in practice. Called Ramondre our bell cow, no question. So, and then saying we're not going to design runs for Drake May on 1st and 10 in the middle of a drive. But if a high leverage situation arises where we can use his legs, we'll certainly call a design run. Okay, whatever. Do I play Dynasty and have Dynasty content in the offseason? I do not play Dynasty anymore just because I had too many managed leagues to keep up with. That said, we have a fantastic Dynasty guy here on the Fantasy Sanctuary. Rich, a.k.a. Dynasty Island, cranks out weekly, monthly, and yearly Dynasty content. It is fantastic. He talks through sells, holds, and buys. His off-season Dynasty content is awesome, and he has a Dynasty check-in every week. So absolutely, this channel services all things fantasy, DFS, best ball, redraft. We get the whole gambit. If you become a member for just like, I think it's like $1.99 or whatever, you can hop in and get Rich's normal stuff. We answer all the questions in the Discord. We answer all the questions in the YouTube comments, and we have weekly and monthly content for every form of fantasy football. And the Dynasty stuff, Rich is top notch with. So yes, absolutely, yeah. Soak it all up. We got the Hooters in the chat getting all hot and bothered with each other. All right, let's see. Jets. Breece Hall trending in the right direction. We're hoping he'll play. He looks really good today. Okay, and then yeah, active today, so that's not shocking. Only thing with the Eagles to note. Just talking about getting Saquon Barkley more involved in the passing game, which wouldn't be surprising if Smith may be out today. Looking at the Steelers. Not really there, except they have talked glowingly about Darnell Washington at the behest of all of the Freiermuth slappies. All right. For the 49ers, Williams is out. His ankle hasn't been healing the way we hoped. Purdy had a good practice. Let's see, needing all of his strength. I think everybody struggles to throw in that wind, even when you're healthy, so it depends on how fast the wind's going. Brock wouldn't be playing at 100% if he wouldn't be playing if he wasn't at 100%. I think the fact he's going to be playing means he's healthy. Okay, Seahawks. Mike McDonald saying DK Metcalf's good to go. That said, looks like JSN is the alpha as far as the target runner in that offense. Let's see. Bucks. Huge to have Mike Evans back. Let's see. On Bucky Irving, it's finding a balance on what he can truly handle without thinning out the integrity of his footwork. And now you don't want to overcoach things. He's making unbelievable plays. Bucky and Rashad are able to make things completely out of nothing. That makes things easier. They have natural hands. Bucky can catch the ball anywhere while being able to make a move on a defender that's difficult. It's like they'll continue to rotate guys, but it looks like Bucky, they're going to lean on as the explosive guy in that offense. Tennessee, note on, and Ridley's done a great job finding different spots. He's played in the slot. We've motioned him a bunch. He's taking that role as number one. We'll keep expanding it. Getting Calvin the ball helps us win. Tony Pollard, 3-down back. He can pass pro. He can do all this stuff. He never gives up on a play. Blah, 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 blah. And then for Washington, I think we play really high. We can play at a really high level without Bryant, but he definitely makes us a better offense. They'll have some rep counts for guys, but they were really hopeful Brian could go, and he does. Terry McLaurin quote is a guy we have to get the ball to more, get more targets throughout the game. There's no doubt about that. But they've been really impressed with Noah Brown. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Last minute notes from. No, we talked about the Taysom stuff. All right, cool. All right, we're all caught up, making sure we didn't miss any of the coach speak stuff. And then making sure we're not going to miss any of the Twitter news as we ramp this down. All right, folks. Well, I think we got to everybody's questions. That was fun. Hope everybody has an awesome day today. Good luck in your matchups. May the coin flips go in your favor. May your players stay healthy all game long. May they score touchdowns. May they hit big plays. May they have the stickiest hands today. May they have the most pinpoint accuracy. May they have the slipperiest feet and jukes, because we need every single yard, every single point in our lineups today, because it is time. It is make or break. We are trying to get into the playoffs. We are trying to get the most points scored. We are trying to edge these goddamn best ball teams into the playoffs. We are trying to bank DFS tournaments. Good luck, everybody. I really do hope you'll have an awesome day, awesome results. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining in, dropping your questions, dropping support, hitting that like, leaving comments. I really do appreciate everybody there. We got a little bit of time before the kickoff. Do want to say that for yesterday's video, went live with friend of the channel, Bendels, to talk through the BR, and had a little sweepstakes giveaway right at the end of the stream. So if you didn't catch that, go check that out. Go hit the like real quick. You got a few minutes before. If you got all your stuff set, offered to give away a BBM entry going into next season. Already excited for next BBM. But a little giveaway for folks that want to leave a comment about a potential player that is going to be on the Battle Royale final winning team this week. So enter yourself into a little bit of free money, as I'm in the giving spirit, since I had a nice little couple pick'em banks for a few $100 the Thanksgiving slate. Good luck, everybody. Hit that like, hit that little comment on that other video. Leave a comment here, just saying what up. Every little bit helps on our road to 4K. Thank you all so much. I really do love chopping it up with y'all. Good luck. See you next time.